Hi, guys, welcome to another episode of Barbie Talks. I am your real and raw influencer, the Brown Barbie, waking minds and elevating lives. So, if that interests you, hit the follow button for this channel, as well as don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube as well. So, today we have officially reached episode 10. Yay! So, for a celebrating episode 10, I have made a Patreon account that is completely free, and here it's going to be a community. I want to develop a community where we're all talking. I'll share things. I actually have a post up now, so you can check the link in this description. It's going to have a link to our book club, the audiobooks, the Patreon, the TikTok, and now we have an Instagram page. So everything Barbie Talks that I worked really hard on is in that link. So if you want to get a little more personal with me and have a little more one-on-one, you can either follow us on Instagram or on Patreon or on both. I suggest both because Patreon is going to be catered to a little more. For example, our first post was a quote from a book, and I kind of broke down social frames. So I'll also be breaking down different topics that I'm not fully talking about on here, as well as all of the bonus episodes and episodes that I have archived on my actual YouTube channel from when I first started Barbie Talks as just a segment will be found on Patreon. And the biggest video that's going to be on Patreon that's going to help you with your spiritual journey as well as your journey in life and just understanding this channel more is validation. I watched that video twice before I even considered putting it as a bonus episode, and I think it's actually an imperative to watch, honestly, before you even listen to episode 11. So I 10 out of 10 recommend you following me on Patreon. It is completely free. Once again, it is completely free. You are not losing anything. You are only gaining. So all of that will be down below, and let's get into this episode today. The quote for today's episode, and then I will let you guys guess what the episode is actually going to be about, is: every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have the strength within you, the patience, the passion, and to reach for the stars to change the world. Harriet Tubman. So there's been this really big talk about Delulu. You're too Delulu? Are you the delusional friend? All of that. But are you delusional? Are you believing yourself? I think it's very imperative to understand that delusion is the baseline for your dreams. You are unable to achieve your dreams if you don't have a bit of a delusion. We have to understand that dreams are not in our reality right now, which is why they are dreams. Dreams are a fictional component of a situation, an idealistic situation that we want to come true. Hence, it would be our reality and not a dream. So therefore, we need that base level of delusion, in air quotes, to get us to said dream. So how are you going to get to said dream without being delusional? It's absolutely impossible. So therefore, the talk on social media that being delusional is wrong is very incorrect. And I'm speaking in the scope of actually pursuing your dreams, a potential career, any spiritual growth, and anything personal to you. I'm not talking about seeking a significant other. We will dive deeper into the delusion within seeking a significant other in further episodes, but those are two different things. You have to understand being delusional over a spouse or a potential partner is completely different than being delusional over your dreams and the things you want to accomplish. Once again, those are two different things that you need to understand the difference, or else you will never achieve your dreams. And I know that's a very bold statement, but it's true. You have to be delusional to achieve your dreams. You have to speak in a tone where, as I spoke previously, shuffling your words into a more positive component where it's in the present tense. I am a millionaire. I am a famous podcaster. I am the best cook. I do own my own restaurant. All of these things, in order for it to come true, and that has a slight touch of delusion. And Dylan James spoke about this in a video as well when he introduced the topic of limiting beliefs, which we broke down in a previous episode. Why is this relevant? Because I'm trying to emphasize to you how all of this stuff is interconnected. This is this is not a joke. I don't know if I'm going to go a little off script because I feel like this is important to emphasize. Growing up, I was very uptight, very judgmental, completely 360 of what I am now, right? I feel like I am a full-blown hippie. Like, I am just live, laugh, love, spirit, like all of this stuff. The base root of how I present myself to you guys now has always been there, but I allowed not being delusional and seeing reality so much to harden that exterior, which then resulted in me acting in that manner where I am not providing light for people, being super bubbly, outgoing. I allowed that harsh reality and feeling like being delusional was wrong to kind of harden that brightness in me and dim my shine. I say this to say, you have to be a little free-spirited. You have to believe in your dreams so hard and be so deluded, in air quotes, that there's no other possible way that this cannot happen. And since our world is so harsh to big dreamers, it can seem like you're dreaming too big or you're doing too much, but you're never doing too much. You are never dreaming too big. It's actually impossible because, as we'll get later in the episode and I give you guys examples, anything that's been put in your mind is meant for you to do, and that's just a fact. I'm not a cook. I have no desire of opening a restaurant. I have no desire of opening up a restaurant in terms of sharing my cuisine with other people and having them eat it. But I have a dream of opening a nice upscale lounge so people have a safe environment to enjoy themselves and relax from work. But guess what? Same dream, but different perspectives because I'm a different person. So I can have a counterpart that wants to open a restaurant because they want everyone to taste their cuisine, but I'm coming from the entrepreneur and the business side of it and the leisure side of it. Now, why is this important? Your dream is your dream for a reason. We're seeing two dreams and two aspirations side by side that are simultaneously the same, but yet they have different motives and different underlyings. That comes with you. That comes from your experiences in life. That comes from how you format the world around you. And that's why it's important to understand, if you have a dream, it was for you. It's not some, oh, I don't know how this got here. It got here because you were supposed to push through that. You were supposed to do that and provide that to the world. You were supposed to be the one to be the first of this, the many of this, be a part of this group, be that change. That was put into your mind so you can fulfill that prophecy. I think when we think in terms of the Bible and prophets, we think in such a huge term, like I have to save a population of people, or I have to do this, I have to do that, when we all have our own mini prophecies within us, whether that be within academia, whether that be within business, whether that's with our family, whether that's with any creative endeavors. We all have our own prophecies within that we are meant to fulfill because we were given those. And those prophecies are basically our dreams. Hopefully you guys are getting the baseline of this, but of course, you guys know I have some examples for you. I know everybody got an iPhone. Point blank period. If you don't have an iPhone, you have a Galaxy, and it's still the same baseline. As I was in the gym this morning listening to my audiobook, but this time I actually switched up and I listened to an interview. And he was breaking down Steve Jobs' story and how he became a self-made billionaire, and how Apple will probably is now at this point the first $1 trillion company. I would actually bet a lot right now that they're the first $1 trillion company right now. So if you don't know, Steve Jobs was a college dropout, very orthodox life, You wouldn't think he would become the mogul that he is and have such an impact on everyone's day-to-day life. So as he built his company, he was actually very hard to work with. The people hated him. They were trying to constantly get him out, and they finally succeeded. So they ended up firing him. Now, if you guys don't know much about business, when you have shares, depending on what your shares are within your company, if they're public, private, all that stuff, for the most part, everything is public knowledge. So if people are getting fired, if there's a new CEO, there's a new positions are being changed, whoever has shares in that company are aware of what's going on throughout that company. So throughout this process, Steve Jobs, this was all known to the public. Everyone seen his downfall, in air quotes. Everyone seen what was happening within his own company. So as he got fired, he went on to different ventures that are not as important, but they end up calling him back and wanting to hire him because the company actually went bankrupt. I believe this is in, don't quote me, maybe around 2004, I remember. The company was actually on the verge of going bankrupt. So they reached back out to him, and when he talked to his lawyers, seen the accounts, that there was only enough money for Apple to run for 2 more months. Before we get to the actual emphasis of the delusion, do you see the low points that this successful person had to go through? And I don't want to say man, I don't want to say his race, I don't want to put any demographic on him. We are speaking about a human that had a very unorthodox life, and that is a self-made billionaire. He did not go through easy times at all, and it was very public. And when he realized this, actually, Bill Gates at the time was I don't want to say one of the richest men, but he was coming up on his success, and he was very fortunate in his wealth. And they did not butt heads at all. Steve Jobs was very abrasive towards him, very aggressive towards him, and he just didn't like him. So immediately, once he found out that his company was going bankrupt, he immediately reached out to Bill Gates, explained the scenario to him, and said, I just need you to loan me the money. I can fix this. I can get this together. I just need the loan. So what Bill Gates does is, I won't loan you the money. I'll put the shares into the company, and then we will be in the same boat together, and we will figure this out. Now, during this time, which this is way before my time of even knowing what other products Apple had, Apple had about 100 products. So these weren't all profitable. So what Steve Jobs did immediately when he got back in, he asked everyone to think of 10 products that just needed to be thrown away. And there's so much you can take from this story and really critically think and make this resonate with you, because I was in the gym absolutely astonished with what I'm about to tell you guys right now. So once he gets everyone to give them their 10, at this time, BlackBerry and Nokia were the most popular phone company. Everyone had a BlackBerry, everybody had a Nokia. The craziest thing is, Nokia actually was the one that had the iPhone technology, but they felt like there was no use for it. So once Steve Jobs and Bill Gates numbered in the products that were going away, they honestly needed a new innovational technical upbringing. And they've seen that Nokia had this new tech that they weren't using. So Steve asked, hey, can I buy this from you? And they said, yeah, we're not using it. So the purpose of the iPhone was to mimic a laptop where you have everything you need in a small, compressed, handheld device. And as we see now, very successful. How does this contribute being delusional? Everything about this story was delusional. This man got fired from his company. This man's company went bankrupt. He had to talk to someone he did not like because he was the only one that had enough wealth to help him. And then on top of that, he had to do a very big roulette game if this company would even allow him to utilize their tech for his innovation. can we talk about one of the most delusional stories of possibly our time? And I found it quite inspiring because it shows when you push through adversity that there really is a brighter side. And I understand that that's such a hard concept for people to understand because people are struggling. There are true victims. There are a lot of people in unfortunate circumstances. But it is always in your power to change your circumstance, to take responsibility of how you want to change your life. Get so tired of your life that you're willing to do whatever, put your pride aside, invest in yourself, and just go head first with your idea in order to pursue this dream of yours. And we also have to remember, even the start of Apple alone was very foreign. This just, oh, why are you, who's this new tech company? We have BlackBerry, we have Nokia, we have Microsoft. Who are you? So I hope you guys were really inspired by that. And he also, in one of his interviews, he said this quote that really, really inspired me. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced the only thing that kept me going was that I love what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that trails back into the stem of that delusion, that dream. What gives you purpose in life? What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel so accomplished after you finish it? I get it. The degrees, the accolades, the public recognition is amazing and it's great. But is that truly fulfilling you? And the biggest test I give people is, when you were a child, what did you enjoy to do the most? What brings you the most happiness? And 9 out of 10 times, that's what you should be doing as an adult. And a lot of people find it very kid and play, like, oh, I can't do what I wanted to do as a child, as an adult, but you can, especially in the age we are molding and shifting into. Almost every career is possible. There are people, we're not even going to get into the jobs, but we know there are people sitting down just like us, making millions from almost nothing, but just having financial literacy, or that was their passion and they poured into it. And I don't even like to use the word delusion because I think it has such a negative tone, but you have to be delusional. You have to be. You have to have such a strong sense of self and such a strong sense of, this is what I am contributing to the world that is going to help this world, make this world better. In a result, it's inevitable for you to be fulfilled in that. It's inevitable for those things to work out in your favor. So, as I spoke about before with your childhood, also hone in on some traits that you feel like really can contribute to the world in your everyday life. And these can be how you speak to people, how you hold yourself. Maybe you're a really personable person, or maybe you're a really empathetic person, or maybe you are a very big critical thinker. You're analytical. Maybe you're super creative and you have an eye for things and you can have it come to life. Or maybe you're just a great networker. There's so many characteristics that will trickle into that dream to allow you to actually fulfill it. And when you break down, actually we'll say it like this, because I think we become way too hard on ourselves, where when someone asks us, oh, what are your positive characteristics, or what are your traits, or what are your abilities, what are you good at, what are you not, we kind of tend to freeze up unintentionally because we're naturally hard on ourselves. So what I would actually rephrase the phrase to be is, what are characteristics that people say about you, and do you see that contributing to your dream? So we can say with my story, I've always been a very good public speaker, very personable person, very bubbly, outgoing. So me doing this right now, talking to you guys, YouTube, any social media, doing this podcast, as well as being a psychology major, this is not left field from me. And it's important to identify those traits and how are they also contributing to your day-to-day life. Are these things that you are pushing to the side just to fit into society? Are these things that you are just sweeping under the rug because you are just being so self-deprecating that you're allowing those good, positive traits to just feel like nothing because you're not reaching a certain goal you want to get to, or you're not at a certain point that you want to be at, or your dream isn't looking the way you actually want it to look in this moment in time? So I would personally say, reflect on those positive attributes and characteristics that people constantly give you or have given you, and kind of reflect about what your dream is and what would you, if someone were to hand you $1 million right now and say, either here, invest it in whatever your dream and hobby is, or I'm investing $1 million in you, what do you want to do with your life? How are those characteristics contributing to that? And if the answer is these characteristics are symmetrical with your dream, you need to be Delulu. You need to be Delulu. You need to see your dream through, because that means it was meant for you. It means that this is your path. It means that this is your journey, and it's going to be hard. It is going to be isolating at times, and it's going to really test you. But if these characteristics are symmetrical with your goals, aspirations, and dreams, this means that's probably most likely your life path. That's probably what you're supposed to do. That's probably the dream you are supposed to follow. And I think sometimes we think being ambitious is harder than what it actually is, but actually ambitious people just have a really strong hunger to pursue what they want to do, whether it's because they don't want to work for someone else, or whether they had a deep desire to be a certain creative person, or if they simply just want a better life. They're hungry for this. They have that desire for something better, and they're allowing those attributes to contribute, those positive characteristics to contribute to that. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. And we're going to get into our spicy tell the truth question, because you already know we have reached our midway point. The question: why do we allow people who don't even believe in themselves to shift our own dreams? Would you ask an infant how to walk? Would you ask a math teacher to help you with your thesis paper? No. So, do I need to say anything else? It makes absolutely no sense why you are not pursuing your dreams, your aspirations, and what you want to do when the people around you doubt themselves so much that they pour that into you. Do you know how psychotic that is? They don't have those positive characteristics, therefore they don't see the dream, therefore they put the doubt into you. This is a simple equation. And with this simple equation, like I constantly say, we allow these red flags, these doubts, and these little things we fear, and these little things we know deep down inside. Oh no, maybe I can't. Maybe I'm not a good singer. Maybe I'm not a good dancer. Maybe I can't own this business. So why did you think of it? Let's retract a few episodes. The mind, the subconscious, and this is something that just clicked in my head. Subconscious, subjective. Subconscious, subjective. Once again, subconscious, subjective. If overall you were not supposed to have this dream, you were not supposed to fulfill this prophecy, why would your subconscious even put this into play? And you cannot answer that question for me, because you know that's what you're supposed to do. You know that's how you're supposed to fulfill your life. But there's a lot that comes with it. There's a lot of backlash you have to deal with. There's a lot of hard work you have to put in. And it's a lot of time of building yourself to be an unshakable force where you can push through almost everything that comes through you, and that comes with time and it comes with patience. But I need you guys to take from this episode, don't take the opinions of others. They, one, don't have those positive characteristics that are contributing to your dream, as well as those attributes that are even going to fuel that dream. And they don't even believe in themselves. There's so many dope and talented people that really push away their talent due to the opinions of others, due to the doubts that their family put in their head. Steve Harvey had a quote he said on his talk show where a boy told his grandmother, "Oh, I want to own a business." And she was like, "Oh, you can never do that." And he said, "That was given to you, not your grandmother. There's something with you, something inside you that you're supposed to feel that. You're supposed to have that dream. That's supposed to be your thing. So why are you going and telling Auntie May, Grandma May that, and she telling you no, and you just thinking, oh yeah, I can't do it." And not to get spicy here, but I'm your real and raw influencer, so I'm gonna keep it a stack. Why are you even taking opinions of people that are below you? And that's not a dig, it's just a fact. Why are you taking any advice for someone that's not even in a position that you want to be in? Why are you even listening to someone that literally is not in a position that you ever want to be in? That's psychotic. At this point, me pursuing my business is better than working just some job that I hate. It's better for me to pour myself into this and bet on myself than constantly betting on my company, constantly putting my time in my company when I'm just a number for them. So why are we allowing these opinions from people that are not even 9 out of 10 times, so many people aren't even in alignment with their goals. I think that's something that people need to understand as well. So many people are not in alignment. That's why when you give that very devilish prayer, but it's not the devilish that you were thinking of, God, please remove anybody out of my life that's not supposed to, and everybody around you starts to drift away. So many people aren't even symmetrical with their true path in life and where you're supposed to go. So why are we even allowing these people to put a bug in our ear? It's crazy. But with that being said, when you do that prayer and you do have those people around, 9 out of 10 times, those are your risk-taking team. What is your risk-taking team? Your risk-taking team are your delusional friends, in air quotes, or your people that are unconditionally supporting you and pushing you through, even if it seems a little daunting. Even if your goal, aspiration seems a little like, this is a little bold. This is a lot, but I think you can do it. Those are the people you want to have around. Those are the people that are going to actually push you farther into that dream, because as humans, we do need that support, and isolation is only, in my personal opinion, only helpful to a certain extent in life. So when you have your risk-taking team, these are the group of people that actually push you ahead mentally, physically, spiritually, and they also provide that sense of delusion, in air quotes, that allows you to believe that your dream is achievable and that this is not even a crazy thought at all. It's like, oh yeah, of course that's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't see why not. And as important as it is to have that validity within yourself and that security in yourself, you actually really do need that risk-taking team, because they're the ones that are going to keep you grounded and hold you accountable for achieving those dreams. So, we covered a lot this episode. We really did. This was small but mighty. So as we wrap it up, I need you to know you need to be completely obsessed with yourself in this time. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I was called everything in the book: shallow, selfish, ungrateful, anything relating to focusing on yourself. I was called that. But those traits helped me so much in my time right now, because those are the same things that are fueling me to this end goal, pushing me to not stop until I reach those goals. And we'll also dive into that another episode, those little small microaggressions people would say, and how now there's such a big, oh my gosh, you have so much self-love. Oh, but I was just shallow and selfish the other day, right? But that's another conversation for another day. You need to be absolutely obsessed with yourself in this time. You need to be absolutely obsessed with getting more knowledge, looking better, feeling better, knowing better, doing better. You need to be absolutely so self-absorbed in a healthy way where this shapes your mind to become so resilient, because you're going to need that resiliency once you kind of go into the real world, in air quotes. Once you start to push those dreams out, start to tell more people about it, you start to step into it, you start to make those investments, you start to make that channel, you start to network more. You're going to need that resilient mind so you can really hone in on yourself and have a solid foundation. Because without that, once you get to those rooms, those people are going to try to check you. I'm not going to lie to you. They're going to try to check you. They're going to try to figure out where they can get you, each and every angle. And you need to be so secure in yourself and have that validity where it's like you can recite your dream left, right, west, east, north, south, everything, and speak with conviction, shoulders back with a smile, where they're like, oh yeah, like this person's for real. Like, I want to invest in this person. I want to see their journey. I want to see them grow. I want to see them do better. So, like I've been saying, it is you. You have to start with yourself. Like, this is not, at this point, new news, you know? This is just expanding. So if you are doing that work within, you're doing the right thing. If you're feeling so isolated right now, you're doing the right thing. If you feel like the shadows and the darkness is kind of honing in on you, you're doing the right thing. If you are listening to audiobooks and doing your research, you're doing the right thing. We can keep going on. So, and if you started doing stuff and then you slack, you're still doing the right thing. So, take everything, like I always say, with a grain of salt. Give yourself grace. Be completely delusional. Be completely obsessed with becoming your best and better self. Because without that, there is no dream. Without that, there is genuinely no happiness in your future. And that is just truth. You cannot be happy if you do not know yourself, believe in yourself, and just feel like fulfilled. And if you don't feel fulfilled in life, what's the point of actually living this life? So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Barbie Talks. I am your real and raw influencer, the Brown Barbie, giving you everything all real and raw. And this was a real episode. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon for all of your bonus content, bonus episodes, quotes, books, thoughts of the day, everything under the sun, as well as our Instagram page, our TikTok page. Everything will be linked down below. And I cannot wait. Spoiler alert. In about a few episodes, we will be doing our book club. So open those books, read your chapters. Read your chapters. I'm not trying to be a school teacher, but read those chapters. At least read a chapter so you can stay in line and you can just resonate and hear my thoughts and hear my analytics of the chapter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and bye.